I'm continuing on my documenting on the life of Maria Valtorta, especially the testimonies of different priests and bishops in the church. And I do want to present you today the testimony of a Spanish exorcist, Father Fortea, well-known Spanish exorcist, about the life of Maria Valtorta. And just let me present this into you, and I do want to talk a little bit about this so that we can keep promoting the works which I think are crucial for this time in the church. I'm just going to do a translation of this video is to give it more prominence in the English-speaking world, and it's from Exorcist Father José Antonio Fortea, a Spanish exorcist priest. And I thought his video here, it's a very short video, it was very poignant, very well put together, and I do want to make people aware of this. So I'm just going to do a translation for you of this. So on the theme of revelations, this is part of a conference.
Yo creo que hay místicos.
I believe that there are mystics.
Pero siempre que me pasan una revelación por internet, por email, tal, la borro.
But anytime somebody passes me a revelation by internet or by email, I delete it.
Leo, no pierdo tiempo.
I don't read it. Why am I going to waste time?
¿Qué? La voy a leer, puede ser verdad, puede no ser verdad.
Why am I going to read it? It could be true, it could not be true, you know.
¿Cómo lo voy a saber? Desde aquí, en Nairobi, pues no lo sé.
How am I going to know if something in Nairobi is? Well, I don't know. To give an example.
Es que parece creíble, hombre. Por supuesto que parece creíble.
And it can be true, and it can look true, and of course it can be true.
Pero eso no significa que sea verdad.
But that does not mean that it is true.
Entonces, yo todo lo borro.
So I delete everything.
No voy a perder tiempo.
I'm not going to lose time.
A sabiendas de que seguro que hay gente muy santa, de mucho ayuno, de mucha oración, que sí que tiene mensajes divinos. Estoy seguro que los hay.
And I know that there are people that are very holy, that fast, etc., that are mystics, and that they do exist.
Pero yo no sé quiénes son.
But I don't know who they are.
Yo no sé quiénes son. Entonces, a mí las revelaciones privadas en las que yo creo que existen no me producen, no veo que sean alimento para mí.
So even in some of the private revelations that there are, they don't produce in me
Mi vida espiritual.
help for my spiritual life.
Hago una excepción.
With one exception.
Una. Yo que
One exception.
Siempre he dicho lo mismo y que no leo ninguna revelación. Hay una que sí que me gusta mucho. Y se la voy a decir por si les gusta. Son los escritos de una mujer que vivió durante la Segunda Guerra Mundial.
So there's one exception. There, the writings of a woman who lived during the Second World War.
Y que es Maria Valtorta.
And her name is Maria Valtorta.
Valtorta con V, lo tienen en internet.
Valtorta with V. Valtorta. Valtorta. Maria Valtorta.
Bueno, yo he comprobado directamente que el Padre Pío la recomendaba.
I have made sure directly that Padre Pio has recommended her.
Y hay un beato, el Beato Alegra, profesor de Sagrada Escritura, que era fan de Maria Valtorta.
And there's a blessed Gabriele Allegre who was a fan of Maria Valtorta.
Y es beato, lo beatificó Juan Pablo II.
And he's blessed. He was made blessed by John Paul II. He's the blessed that translated the Bible into Chinese, a biblical expert.
Maria Valtorta, la única cosa que hizo fue, paralítica en su cama, sin libros, fue decirle a su confesor: Padre, estoy viendo la vida de Jesús.
So this is a woman who was paralyzed, and she said to her confessor, I am seeing the life of Jesus.
Y escribió una vida de Jesús maravillosa.
And she wrote a life of Christ that is maravillosa. I mean, marvelous, I would say incredible.
Que se puede leer como novela si no quieren creer en el carácter sobrenatural de esta revelación. Pero a mí me fascina.
So this is a work that you can read as a novel if you don't believe in the supernatural character of the work, but it is Screet's writings that fascinate me. This is what Father Fortea is saying.
O sea, si lo quieren leer como novela, háganlo, pero yo es que no me canso de leerlo y volverlo a leer.
So you can read it as a novel, but I'm never tired of reading it and rereading it.
Lo que esta pobre mujer sin cultura, sin libros, paralítica, sin libros, ¿cómo pudo describir tan bien Jerusalén, Galilea, la Decápolis? Es increíble.
So how could a woman without books describe everything that she saw? Now, he's saying that she was, here he said, sin cultura. She certainly wasn't without culture. She was very well formed. She was fluent in French. She was, extremely well formed in secondary school, in classical studies and so forth. So she had a lot of culture because she went to a private boarding school. I wouldn't say she isn't formed, but she certainly didn't have all of the biblical formation that you would need to write what she wrote. She didn't have that, that's for sure. But I do recommend people read her autobiography, which is quite incredible.
Es increíble. Yo que sí que he estado varias veces en Tierra Santa, he ido a fijarme en los detalles y efectivamente, ¿cómo podía saber determinadas cosas que yo he necesitado varios viajes para llegar a ese lugar tan desconocido por todos?
So how could she know all of the details? And he's making a very, very, very important. Father Fortea has been to the Holy Land many times. He's gone to places to try and verify some of the details that Maria Valtorta are talking about. And it would take a few times to put that all together, to scout all that information if you are going to write a book on Maria Valtorta. I mean, you, like Maria Valtorta wrote, you would need that scouting, investigation, study exercise in the Holy Land to be able to write this.
Y ahí está la descripción.
And there it is, the descriptions. She has incredible ability to describe where she is. Because Christ, when he revealed himself to her, he says, be attentive to the details. And she is very attentive to describing food, weather, location, topography, the mountains, what she sees, if it's raining, if it's moonlit, the cycles of the moon, if it's a full moon, etc., etc., etc.
Incluso me acuerdo que tuvo esta señora una visión de los mártires romanos.
And she also had, this is in her notebooks, a vision of the Roman martyrs.
En la cárcel Mamertina.
In the prison, Mamertina prison.
Y leí la descripción que hace. Y al día siguiente fui a visitar la cárcel Mamertina y la guía era excepcional.
And the next day I went to see the Mamertina prison, and it was exceptional.
Sabía todo.
She knew everything.
Y le dije, mire, le voy a hacer una pregunta. Yo estuve ayer, yo siempre he sido muy fan de la cultura clásica y como leo latín, pues he leído mucho.
And I'm a fan of classical culture and I read Latin.
Y yo siempre he sabido que Mamertina y Tulliano, el Tullianum es sinónimo. Y además ayer...
And I've always known that Mamertina and Tullianum were synonymous.
Antes de venir aquí estuve leyendo artículos especializados y todos lo ponen como sinónimo. Como un personaje de esta mujer, le dije, le voy a decir la verdad, leí una revelación. ¿Cómo dice el personaje, mañana me llevan al Tulliano?
And how this person, this is in her notebook, she says, tomorrow they will bring me to Tulliano. And he's making a very, very important point because, a lot of these experts can understand this, but Maria Valtorta would not be able to know this. It is simply impossible.
Si todos sabemos que desde la secundaria que estudiábamos latín que son sinónimos. Y la guía me dijo, sí, hasta los romanos lo usaban como sinónimos.
So even the Romans used it as synonymous, this phrase.
Pero
But
los que trabajaban aquí distinguían entre la cárcel mamertina y la parte más profunda primitiva que era el Tuliano.
But even us who are here in this prison distinguish between the Marmartina and the place, the most profound place called the Tullianum. Now this is what Father Fortea is describing here, a prison in Rome.
Me quedé con la boca abierta, claro. Me quedé con la boca
And I was left with my mouth open, surprised.
abierta. Además de que la descripción era la que aparece en ese texto.
Also to note that the description was what appeared in the text, which this mystic, bedridden mystic Maria Valtorta wrote.
Y ella nunca había estado en Roma.
And she was never in Rome.
Son cosas que podría seguir y dices, wow, esto es para quitarse el sombrero.
And there's many things that could follow. And he says in a kind of a Spanish saying, it's the thing that makes you take off your hat. Anyway, recently I've been reading the autobiography of Maria Valtorta, which she wrote before she started this big project, The Gospel is Revealed to Me. Do I have a copy? I have a copy. This is the work that 10 volumes work that has really captivated the minds of many people. And as Father Fortea says, read it as a novel. If you don't want to read it as divinely inspired, read it as a novel. There's so many novels out there. But I think if you start reading this as a novel, you're going to see there's too much in here that is so exact, so precise, that we have to really take her at her word, that she was receiving this prophetic gift for the church in this time of rampant modernism in the church, when we are trying to retranslate the Bible and interpret it so other ways. We see this work for this time. And if you go to the 10th volume, at the very last chapter, you'll get the reasons why our Lord gave us this work for this time. Whereas we're being lost. We are being lost. It's a beautiful work. And Father Fortea there, he's talking about Maria Valtorta seeing visions of the Roman martyrs. Well, if you go to her notebooks, which are beautiful, there's 3 volumes. You can get them, and they're in English, and you can get them in the Maria Valtorta Heritage Foundation website. They sell them. But the notebooks, there's so much in there that you really, really have to take. We really have to study. And so, I'm just putting this video out there just to drive awareness in the English-speaking world. Maria Valtorta is very well known in the French-speaking world. She's getting more exposure in the Italian-speaking world, and in the Spanish-speaking world we see it as well. But in the English-speaking world, sadly, so many people don't know about her, haven't investigated her, and don't realize the whole treasure that we have in her writings, especially in the Gospel as Revealed to Me, or that famous work, or the Poem of the Man God, as it was originally published back in the late 1950s, early 1960s. Placed on the Index of Forbidden Books at the exact same time as Saint Faustina's Divine Mercy was placed there. But I think she is one of the great mystics of this age. She is one of the greatest mystics that you need to read. And I challenge anybody, as I said, I've already done a video. I challenge anybody to prove that she's a false mystic. I challenge anybody. She's one of the greatest mystics of our time, without a doubt. And it's great to see Father Fortea, and he's quoting Father. He says he is he has made sure or checked it out. He's to see, did Padre Pio recommend her, and he did. Padre Pio did recommend that people read Maria Valtorta. Blessed Gabriel Alegre said read Maria Valtorta, was a great defender of Maria Valtorta. Saint Teresa of Calcutta used to carry the Bible, her breviary, and one of the volumes of Maria Valtorta, of the poem of the man God. And this work is one of the great doors that'll help you on your spiritual life, without a doubt. It will drive you to the heights of where you need to arrive. It'll captivate your heart. I highly recommend it. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.